I would like to set the intention for today that we know that this is what we're here to do. We're going to pay attention. We're going to listen. We're going to open our hearts. We're going to be vulnerable. This is a safe and brave space. Rodney just told me that today. And I needed that space for a few minutes today because I have a lot of personal challenges going on. But just giving a space for us to be honest and open and be able to talk, because we cannot solve the problems if we can't be honest. We can't help you if we're not honest with our truths. So that is what we're doing today. But I'd like to go ahead and hand over your heart and mind to Senator Maggie Glover, who is going to share with you her experiences and tell you a little bit about what she does. And I love hearing her speak. I know that she speaks with a passion and she's a storyteller. So you're in for a real treat. So thank you again for being here today. And Maggie, the floor is all yours.
Well, hello, everybody. Hopefully you're all having a great, great day. Because I'm on a time frame and I got a lot of stuff I need to say and I want to share with you, I'm going to cut the kit and the chat right now and do exactly what Ms. Eccles just suggested to you. I'm a storyteller. So in honor of Black History Month and in honor of the bold and aggressive task you have, I want to share this story. A world without Black people. Now, this is the story of a little boy named Theo. Woke up one morning and rushed into the kitchen and asked his mother, "What if there were no Black people in the world, Mama?" Well, Mom thought about it for a moment. And she said, "I want you to follow me around today and let's just see what it would be like if there were no Black people in the world. Now go get dressed and we'll get started." Well, Theo ran to his room. He put on his clothes and shoes and then ran back to his mother to get started. His mom took one look at him and said, "Theo, where are your shoes, son? And your clothes are all wrinkled. So, baby, go take those off and hand them to me so I can iron them." However, when she reached for the ironing board, it was not there. Why? Because you see, Sarah Boone, a Black woman, invented the ironing board, and Jan E. Metzingler, a Black man, invented the shoe lasting machine. "Oh, well," she said, "Well, at least go comb your hair. Maybe that will help a lot." Theo ran back to his room to comb his hair. And guess what? You're right. No comb. You see, Walter Sampson, Sammons, a Black man, invented the comb. Then they decided that just go brush it, son. But no luck. A Black woman, Lydia O. Newman, had invented the hairbrush. Well, Theo was a sight to see. No shoes, very wrinkled clothes, and a messy, nappy, messy head. Even Mom's hair, without the hair care products invented by another Black woman, Madam C.J. Walker. Okay, you get the picture. Theo, let's do our house chores and then take a trip to the grocery store. Theo's job was to sweep the floor. So he got the broom, swept the entire floor, and then reached for the dustpan. It too was not there. You see, Lloyd P. Ray, a Black man, invented the dustpan. So Leo did what many of us just think back a little bit. He swept his pile of dirt over into the corner and put the trash can on top of it. Don't act like you have not heard or seen that. He then decided, I'll just mop the floor. And he went looking for the mop. Gone too. Yes, Thomas W. Stewart, a Black man, invented the mop. Theo yelled, Mom, I'm just not having any luck with my chores. Well, son, she said, let me finish washing these clothes and we can prepare a list for our grocery shopping. When the wash finished, she went indeed to put the clothes into the dryer. But of course, the dryer was not there. Why? Because George T. Sampson, a Black man, invented the clothes dryer. Mom asked Theo to go get a pencil and a piece of paper so that they could make their shopping list. Theo ran to get the pencil and paper, but immediately saw that the pencil lead was broken. He was just out of luck again, y'all, because John Love, a Black man, had invented the pencil sharpener. Mom went to get her ink pen there either, because William Purvis, a Black man, invented it. As a matter of fact, Lee Burridge, a Black man, invented the soon coming and later to be had typing writing machine. And W.A. Lovett, a Black man, had invented the advanced printing press. Well, Theo and his mother just decided to let's just go on to the grocery store. But when Theo opened the door, he and his mom saw a lawn that really needed to be mowed. But that was not possible either, because you see, John Burr, B-U-R-R, a Black man, invented the lawnmower. They made their way over to the car, but Mom just couldn't get it to start up or move. Not surprising. Richard Spikes, a Black man, invented the automatic gear shift, reverse drive. And Joseph Gamble, a Black man, had invented the supercharged system for internal combustion engines, the woof woof that starts your car. As they walked to the grocery store, they saw that the few old cars that were moving kept running into each other and causing wrecks because they had no traffic signals. You know why? Garrett A. Morgan, a Black man, invented the traffic light. Well, now it was getting late, so they got their groceries and returned home. Just as they were about to put away the eggs, butter, and milk, they noticed refrigerator gone. John Standard, a Black man, invented the refrigerator. So the food was left on the counter. As nightfall approached, they noticed that the house was getting cold. So Mom went to turn up the heat. And what do you know? Alice Walker, a Black woman, invented the heating furnace. Even if it had been summertime, they would have still been out of luck, because Frederick Jones, a Black man, invented the air conditioner. Well, it was time for Theo's father to arrive home from work. And normally he would take the bus, but there was no bus today because its precursor, the electric trolley, was invented by Albert R. Robinson, a Black man. He takes the elevator from his office on the 20th floor, but there was no elevator today because Alexander Miles, a Black man, invented the elevator. He also was responsible for dropping off the office outgoing mail to a nearby mailbox. But it was no longer there either because Philip Downing, a Black man, invented the letter drop mailbox. And William Berry, another Black man, invented the postmarking and canceling machine. Theo and his mother was at the kitchen table with their heads in their hands. When his father arrived home and opened the door, he asked, "Why are the two of you sitting in the dark?" Why? Because Lewis Howard Latimer, a Black man, invented the filament that produces light in the light bulb. Theo quickly learned more from his father about what it would be like if there were no Black people in the world, especially if you were ever sick and needed blood. Dr. Charles Drew, a Black man, scientist, invented a way to preserve and store blood, which led him to starting the world's first blood bank. What if a family member had to have heart surgery? It would not have been possible without Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, a Black man, MD, who performed the first open heart surgery. So, mentors and mentees of nonprofits, if you wonder, like Theo, where we would be without you and Black people, well, by now, it should be plain to see we would still be in the dark and dark ages. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate Black History Month, remember the names and remember that if it had anything to do with work and welfare in this world, some Black folk did it. We were the workers. And most of the things that we gave to this world grew out of our need to meet the needs of our times. That's your role 21 right now, to be as your definition, as your mission as Black nonprofits. It is your role to be change agents. You are problem solvers. You see the need and design measurable objectives to solve those problems. That's who you are. And you must have, if you look at Google the definition, if you read articles, when they talk about nonprofit, there is one word that always kind of shows up. And Miss Eccles said that too. Passion. Passion. That's how all of the people named here gave to this world through their passion to make things faster, quicker, and to have more effective results. That was there. And you have to love what you're doing. You have to want to see improvement for this to truly, truly be beneficial to this world. And I encourage you. I pray for each one of you that you will do just that. Now, before I conclude, there are 3 names because many of the people named in the story, of course, are no longer with us. But I want you to know that in the DNA of Black people in this world, there is this thing, this passion where our numbers of contact may be shrinking, but because of that DNA, Black folk are still doing exactly and what our ancestors showed us. Let me tell you exactly what I mean. Probably the most powerful invention of these modern times comes from a Black man. Any of you have ever heard of the name Jesse Eugene Russell? And if you've heard me talk anytime in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, I talk about Jesse Russell all the time, because one of the things I want you to know too, if we don't tell our story, who will? And why on earth would you want somebody else to tell your story? Jesse Eugene Russell, Google him, is the father, that's what they say, the Black father of the cell phone. That item that has now become an appendage to most of us, certainly our children. Most people may not have water with them. They may not even have a little snack, but they got that cell phone. They got this. And we got to let the world know. We know who is responsible for this item. And brothers and sisters, the brother is still alive, drawing breath and doing well. What is he working on now? 5G broadband. He gave us 4G. That's why we can talk to anybody on the planet. On the planet, because we got a Jesse who gave to us this item. We got Kizzy. Her name is, and forgive Maggie. It's spelled Kizzimmeka, Corbett. They affectionately call her Dr. Kizzy Corbett, another Black woman who 2021 gave what to the world? The Corona-19 vaccine. This is a sister who graduated from North Carolina at Chapel Hill Med School. 35, well, no, she's 36 years old as we speak. Last night on a similar platform, we had this woman who spoke with the Derek Johnson with the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People on his program, telling the world about her work in the virus vaccine. we are still doing it. There are many other names on my list of young people right now, but I want to end this way by helping you to understand how vital you are. You cannot half-step this. This cannot be some BS that when you get through doing other things, shopping, that kind of stuff, I'll get back. No, there is a world that is in crisis. And the Creator have selected all of you. You're his spokespersons. You're his army right here and right now. And you, brothers and sisters, got some serious work to do. You got to be on your job, and you got to turn out mentees and a project that is good, damn good, because they know they got empirical data that says this is the science. This is how I know. This method, this mission, this objective works. I started out with 2,000 people here. Who those 2,000? Empirical data. Open your mouth and speak truth to power. But you cannot do that rapping, I'm sorry, unless you rapping some facts. The cuteness, no, you've got to be able to prove what you say is the objective. And the beautiful thing about it is, you know that if I do it, it will work. It will work. Because if you don't believe in your project, you will never, ever make anybody else believe in it. That's why passion is by your names. So young brothers and sisters, final statement. Something else I want you to Google. I want you to look up the buying power of African Americans in these United States. Select the year. I selected 2020 because that's when I collected this data. And last year, y'all, 2020, the buying power, please now understand, I'm not talking about our total income. I'm simply talking about what we spent as a people. And please understand, we are only 13% of the 338 million people who live in these United States. We are 13% of that number. But last year, Black folk put into the US economy, let us pray, $1.4 trillion, making us the #1 consumer on the planet. Nobody spends as much money as we do. 1.4 trillion. Sisters, where do you think we spent a lot of that 1.4 trillion? You got it. Weave and the weave shops. and hair products. And we don't own not one. Not one. Brothers, my strong Black men, where did your money go? ABC? Yes, sir. Liquor store automobiles. Liquor store automobiles. Tennis shoes at approximately $200 a pair came in strong. Number 3. Nonprofit mentors, directors, and your mentees. We got work to do. We must teach. We must tell these children. When you cannot communicate, spoken and written, you are powerless in this country. When you have no control over the things that make this world move, money, 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 money. When you have no control over the portion you have, we are ill-equipped to move into the future. So at this very conference, please get it together, unite together, work your mission, have the passion that your people and this world desperately, it's not funny out here. This thing is killing people, our economy. And of course, we are the workers. We've got work to do. You let them know that I am here to undergird you. I am here to get the federal resources, to find the grant money, to help develop programs that we know can produce the data and the information that makes us guaranteed to be able to get from power that which we need for our people. So don't just celebrate Black History Month this year. I want you to be Black History this year. Thank you.
Well, and I think Les was going to kind of maybe wrap us up. So Les, I'll give you just a minute or two to wrap us up, and then I'll hop back in.
First of all, Senator, that was powerful. I was doing everything in my power because I'm on camera. So I'm trying not to do like a little dance in my chair, but very powerful. Thank you for everything you brought to the table today. We appreciate you, and we will carry your message forward. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Love you all.
We love you. All right, Jessica.
Well, thank you, Les. And for those of you who I don't know or haven't met, I am one of the people behind the scenes with the Together SC Black Nonprofit Leaders Group. Rodney and I kind of help to make several things happen that the committee wants to make happen. And so thank you so much again, Ms. Glover, for your remarks. We so appreciate you. And we are about to head into breakout rooms. We're going to spend a good bit of time in those because we are really excited about the conversations that we're going to have. So in just a second, I'll give you the overview of those breakout rooms, tell you who will be facilitating those, and then I will put you in a breakout room. There are a few of you who just messaged me back in the chat, so you won't immediately go to the breakout room because I'm going to need to manually add you, and then you'll go into that breakout room. But we have 4 breakout rooms, but really 3 themes. One of them was so big that we needed to split it in half. But the first one is Mentor Talk, and that's for folks who are seasoned seasoned in the nonprofit space, however they define that and whatever age they are, and really kind of either are a mentor to someone in this space or want to be a mentor. And so Shane Kinlock is going to lead that conversation and kind of talk about some of the things that we feel like are important for you to be and some skills for you to have if you're going to pour into another professional. On the flip of that, we're going to have Mentee Talk, and Rodney is going to lead that discussion. And that's for folks who are newer in this space, again, regardless of how old you are. But if you're newer in the space and you want someone to be your mentor and again, kind of pour into you and help develop you. And so that's that conversation. Then we have two rooms that are really for both, for folks who are either both a mentor and of this captured. But any high level ahas, as Oprah will say from the session, anybody want to share something that they thought, gosh, that was so meaningful, or I'm going to remember that, or, I wrote that down. It's, again, as Oprah will say, it's tweet worthy.
I would jump in. This is Toy Smith. I learned that I sure enough, can I use that, please? I sure enough need a mentor, okay?
Sure
and then the second thing I learned was from Mr. Brown, that there's he talked about two types of boards, and like an advisory board and a governing board. So I really want to, I'm going to continue that communication so that I can have a clear understanding of what I need to do to shift or to stay the same. So thank you for that.
Any other ahas or tweetable moments we want to share with the group?
Yes, I'm here. Brandon Williams here from 8 to 80, and I had a couple of ladies that was currently close to my area, and they gave me some good feedback on how to start getting revenue for our organization. And I wrote their names down, and hopefully I can contact and partner with them. We are a fairly new organization, and we are actually starting off our cookout tomorrow for the public. So if anybody is in that area, we are located at Chesterfield, South Carolina at 1233 West Boulevard. So just come out and join us tomorrow. We're gonna have a cookout, free food for the public and to the kids. So if you're around that area, just come check us out, support us, and hopefully it turns out pretty good.
All right, I'm here for it. I think we've got time for maybe one more aha tweetable moment.
Someone in our group asked if Together SC, if there was a formal way for us to match, have a list of folks that might be interested in being a mentor and folks that might be interested in mentees. I'll just say that out loud because there might be a space for that. But don't let that be the last comment. I just want to put that.
Yes, please connect me with a mentor, please.
Well, it'll come up a little bit in our conversation in just a minute, actually. Okay. So we'll circle back on that. So I'm going to kind of move on in my little agenda list here. John Simpkins is joining us just for a few minutes. John is the president of, and I wrote it down so that I would get it right, but I've got all these papers everywhere, of the Network for Southern Economic Mobility. Pretty sure I got that correct.
MDC.
MDC. And so John is working on an opportunity that he really wants to engage us in that I think is pretty exciting. So I'm going to pass the floor to you, John.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see all these faces on my Zoom screen. I'm originally from South Carolina, although I live in North Carolina now, but I get back across the border as often as I can and as soon as I can. I run an organization called MDC. We are both a think tank and a catalyst for connecting communities to resources and solving big problems. All those things that people talk about right now, about access to good paying jobs, about economic mobility as opposed to downward economic mobility, we do the hard work to connect people to those opportunities and to shift systems to make those opportunities real. And I'm excited to be with you all today to share an effort that's just underway and it's to connect funders in North and South Carolina to nonprofit leaders of color. That effort is just getting underway, and one of the things that will inform it tremendously, and we're doing this a little bit differently. You're not going to get an RFP. You're not going to get some proposal that you need to write. We are going to identify leaders and bring them into the design of the work itself. And you will work with funders in order to do that. But one of the things that we need to do first is to have a real understanding of what it is that you all need. And so hearing your report outs is a good start. I hear that some people need mentors. I hear that some people want to be mentors, and there's a need to match those two. And I think the first thing that I can learn and take back to that group is that not everything that we might think about doing requires bringing somebody from the outside. There are ways that we can leverage the community itself. And over the next several weeks and months, working with Together SC, we're gonna be talking with all of y'all about your needs, about the resources that you have, about the things that you'd like to have, whether they're professional development, whether it's about how you develop boards and which kinds of boards you have, whether it's about ongoing connection for a group like this. Any of those things, all of those things are what we'd want to hear about so that we can give this effort, which I think has a chance to be a two-generational change effort, a chance to be successful. And I say 2 generations because it's not just you that we want to work with, it's the people who you've identified as having the ability to come right behind you. And if we can work with you and the folks you've identified as being your next leaders, we think we can have a real impact on not just the nonprofit community in South Carolina, but connect you to funders where you might not have those connections, and to make it a flat connection. It's not about you going hat in hand begging for money. It is about you working in partnership with large funders across the state to design programs that are going to work and that are going to be responsive to the needs of the communities you serve. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. And we will be sharing out the kind of real specific ways to engage. Right now, we're working on, getting John back in a Zoom format where it is the only purpose is that. And so kind of stay tuned to your email for communication about what that specific information is. So thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you all for what you do. It is greatly appreciated. As somebody who's been a beneficiary of the kind of work that you're doing, I'm just grateful that you continue to do it. Bless you all and have a good weekend. Thank you.
Same. You too.
Bye, John. So a few other quick things that we wanted to touch base about with y'all while we had you here before you all departed for the day. For many of you, this is not your first symposium and not your first kind of activity with the Black Nonprofit Leaders Group, but we want to make sure that you all are continuing to be engaged with us and continuing to get the kind of engagement that you are asking for, in addition to doing the things that kind of align with our mission. And so I am going to, in just a second, put up a poll. The executive committee, planning committee, has been really talking about the best way to make sure that we are best serving this community. And we feel like, we want to get feedback from you all instead of assuming that our voices are sufficient in terms of planning. So you'll see in a second, there's going to be, and I just launched it. And so there are several different questions. And so you'll kind of see them, and I'm going to quickly read them, but you can also just put me on mute if you're like me and actually need to read them and not hear people speaking. But we're going to ask you, the first question is, what topics would you like to see at a future symposium? Our next one is coming up in May. Then we have a question around what best describes you, or, you know, in terms of where you are in the organization, because again, that information is going to be helpful for us in terms of planning. And then what best describes your organization from a fundraising, kind of from a budget perspective, again, will help us as we plan. And then the last question is about a Facebook group, and I'll talk just a little bit more about that and one other opportunity in just a second. So if everyone wants to start clicking on the poll, and I'll see as I'll see it as people fill it out. And I'll give you a minute to do that.
I love how you can see it live.
And yes, I've got a question about clarifying the options. So the version that I'm seeing is not the same as you all. So I'm going to go through each question because I'm seeing the full poll and not just the questions. So the first question is, which topic would you like to see at a future symposium? And you have 5 options. So performance management, that would be talking about kind of leading a team and everything from having to implement a performance improvement plan for leaders and for staff people who need some support and guidance because they're not quite doing what we need them to do, as well as executing performance appraisals, that sort of thing. The next one is leading through change, which is essentially like leading anything or anyone right now in the middle of everything that's happening in the world. But what are some specific leadership skills that we need when we are leading through change, whether it's in the world or your organization is going through change? All about fundraising. We're just gonna talk about how to get the money in the door because we're gonna need to be doing that forever. The art of public speaking. And so, you know, really talking more about public speaking because we're all are doing it. And so, you know, some tips, best practices, that sort of thing. And then effective listening and receiving constructive feedback. So, you know, both kind of getting feedback and also kind of making sure that we're doing it in a way that allows us to be better. So does that help with that first question? Do folks see the poll question on their screen? I'm seeing some nodding of the head, so I'm assuming yes. Okay, perfect. Because I only see it as people do it, and it looks like no one's done it just yet.
Submitted mine.
I wonder if it just is slow, because I'm like, surely.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching.
Let me see if I X out and get back in. So I'm going to give everybody another 30 seconds to do it, and then I'll end it. And if you have additional questions, just let me know. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to end the poll now. And it looks like, here, let me see if, okay. Oops. And it looks like it might be on the Zoom on the website. So that will give us some additional information. And 2 other things I want to just quickly talk about before we wrap up. Excuse me,
Jessica.
Oh, yep.
Did you put the poll results up and then took it
So
down?
The problem is right now I'm still seeing that there are 0 votes. And so I'm assuming that it might be in, you know, if I go to zoom.com, it might be there. So
I saw the results.
We saw results. Just
but they went away.
Oh, I was going to say,
so
just
you all can see something that I can't see.
Do you want me to share it?
They're on the screen.
Yeah,
now.
they're on the screen now.
Okay.
So I'll leave this up. All I see is a bunch of zeros.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
I think it's a system with Zoom that the leader sometimes can't see the results. I just wanted to share that. So that's the disconnect.
Thank you, Garcia. Thank you.
Rodney, can you just take a screenshot of that for me?
I sure can.
Thank you. I'll just leave it up then. So the other thing, 2 quick things I wanted to touch base about. The committee has been chatting about a few things. The first one is potentially a Facebook group. And you know, there's a Facebook page versus a group, but essentially a group where the people that are, you know, that you all, you folks who work at a nonprofit in South Carolina who are Black can have a space to share resources, to talk, to get advice, to say, y'all, I had a hard day and I need some encouragement, you know, all of that sort of thing. So so that was why that was one of the poll questions. And so we will kind of investigate that further. And because I'm the host, I have no idea how many of you all said yes right now, but I'll know in about 5 minutes when Rodney and I touch base after this meeting.
Almost everybody said yes.
It was 93%.
Then we're doing it, and y'all will find out more. Make sure you check your email. And then the very last thing is another, you know, opportunity. We love our symposiums, but because they are time intensive in terms of the few hours, that sort of thing, we can't do them as often as we want to connect with you all, and that everybody wants to connect with each other. So we have kind of toyed around with this idea of having a very informal book club series where folks can read the book. And y'all, I am in a book club that basically just turned into We Were Friends and didn't read the book, but there are at least 2 books I really do want us to read. So, you know, govern yourself accordingly. But we could just have, you know, again, very informal sessions, you know, 2 or 3 per book. And, you know, if 5 people come, I'll be happy as a clam. If 50 people come, I'll still be happy. And we'll do it at a time where folks can have a wider option of what beverages they choose to drink. And it'll obviously be virtual. And so, you know, if that's of interest, just hop it in the chat and let us know. You know, again, I read these books anyway, so I'm happy to find people to talk to them about. The 2 books that I'm kind of looking at for this particular group and discussion is Lead from the Outside by Queen Stacey Abrams. Y'all, I've listened to this book on Audible twice and I am obsessed with it. And then the other book that I just read, and I'll send all of this stuff to you, but it's called Leading a Life in Balance. I heard the author speak last night. She lives in Boston, and she was the CEO of the Urban League in Boston for 11 years, then was the CEO of a child welfare advocacy organization for 18 years. So she's seen a few things, and her book is it's good. It's basically several different short stories. So that, and I'm getting enough people that we're going to do it. Because again, even if there's just a few of us, I'm happy to talk about these books at any time. So again, make sure that you check your email. We'll send a follow-up from this session with the recording, just the pieces that we recorded. We'll send you a survey and then just some additional information about these next steps and the ways to continue to engage. And if at any point you all have any questions, you can reach out to me, to Rodney, or to Nicole, our chair. I think that our emails, all of our information is on Together SC's website, and you all would have gotten, I think, 2 emails from me this week. And so send me an email if you have questions. But we are thrilled that we got to spend a little bit of time with you all, and hope everybody has a wonderful, happy Friday afternoon and a wonderful weekend.
All right, thank you.